Thank you. Hi, and welcome to the Insurance Apprentice, a rigorous contest where insurance professionals compete to become the face of the short-term insurance industry. I'm your host, Simon Coleman from SHA. Now, with only 8 contestants remaining, we're nearing the end of the road, and we're looking to lighten the load on this heavy commercial vehicle. That means we're going to need to kick 2 more contestants to the curb, leaving us with a top 6 by the time the credits roll today. This week's episode is brought to you by Hollard Insure, a short-term insurer covering individuals, businesses, and corporate clients. The challenges prescribed in this episode have been presented by Hollard Insure and will not only assess their insurance knowledge, but will also test their resourcefulness to solve problems. Let's welcome our contestants. Hello, teams.
Hello.
Good morning.
Looking well rested. You've had a week to recover from the last task. Feeling good?
Yes, feeling good.
Feeling good. Feeling great.
Good, excellent. John, I see you're wearing a purple tie today.
Yeah, unfortunately couldn't find some purple bow ties, so the tie will have to do for today.
So your strategy is to suck up to the sponsor?
If not, why not?
This might get you fired from Santam though. You're gonna have to hide that tie afterwards. Anyway, good luck to you for today. Christelle,
Simon,
the pressure's on you today.
looks like it.
Because not only is your position in the apprentice at stake, but given that your employer is the sponsor of the day, so is your job.
We've been through this with Molaleto. I'm sure I'll be fine
Yes,
though.
you think you'll do as well as she did when we had Auto and General on?
Hopefully.
Okay, well, good luck to you. Nao, you are the proverbial rose amongst the thorns today in that team.
I think this is a strategy, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, let's talk about this, because I'm sure you often find yourself at a board meeting or in a meeting and you're one of the few women in the room. Is that a reality for you?
In my working environment, it's not a reality.
Oh, most of your colleagues are women?
Majority, actually.
Okay.
We only have 2 men in my team.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the leadership roles around the industry, it's still largely dominated by men.
Actually.
And we need to change that. So I think you've got an opportunity to do that today. So to Wayne, Simon, and John, please avoid mansplaining. If I see that happening, you're going to get fired.
We'll do our best, Simon.
All right, so just a reminder that our top 6 today will take home from Pattern Personnel, a leadership development program boasting an analytical consultation and leadership toolkit session with a leadership mentor valued at 20,000 Rand, a corporate photo shoot from AIG, and a personalized hamper from Santam. So without further ado, it's time for Rapid Risk. In Rapid Risk, our contestants will be asked 10 multiple choice questions. For every correct answer, they will be awarded 6 points, which will move them up the leaderboard. The first person to correctly answer scores 4 additional bonus points. The contestant with the lowest score will be eliminated from the competition. Contestants, are you ready?
Yes, Simon.
Here we are. You ready?
Your first question. What does WIWIT stand for? Working Inspirational Women in Transport, Working Women in Insurance Trade, Women Inspiring Women in Transport, or Women Inspiring Women in Towing? The correct answer, of course, was C, Women Inspiring Women in Transport. 6 of you got that correct. And those early bonus points going to Masachaba.
Thank you.
Do you have any experience with this? In fact, I just remembered, last year, you did not perform well in the motor trucking related task. Does my memory serve me?
Absolutely correct. I only got 2 questions right.
So have you actually have you read up on this? Have you studied today? Or are you just winging it?
Yes, today I've studied. I'm here to redeem myself.
Okay, all right, good luck. John and Molatelo, not a good start for you. You were the only 2 out of the group to get that question wrong. John.
Yeah, same. Was trying to dethrone Masichaba, so tried to be as fast as possible and right.
I'm hoping, John, that you didn't peak early in this competition, because I noticed towards the end of the last task in rapid risk, you also seem to be putting out a couple of wrong answers there. What's happened?
No, these things, just trying to be too ambitious for going for that points, so.
Okay, no big match temperament problems.
Not at all.
All right, good luck. The next question. Hollard Trucking Insurance is A, risk-centric, B, driver-centric, C, profit-centric, or D, telematic-centric. One thing is for sure, the answer has the word centric in it. Lock those answers in. The correct option was, of course, B, driver-centric. 5 of you got that correct. Christelle, off to a good start, Christelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, you may actually keep your job.
That's a good thing.
You get that fishing pole packed away for another season.
Simon, we've been talking about this. It's not yet out. It will only come out at the end of insurance.
As a celebratory fishing expedition.
Exactly, and you can come with, like I told you before. The invitation stands.
Thank you so much, Christelle. Bribery will get you nowhere in this competition.
I might as well try.
All right, next question. What does CTA stand for? Is it A, Commercial Transport Academy, B, Commercial Training Academy, C, Commercial Transcription Academy, or D, Commercial Transfer Academy? Only one answer is correct. There were 5 correct answers that time, the correct one being A, Commercial Transport Academy. And the fastest correct answer was Lerato. Oh, we got a good spread of bonus points here.
Yeah, we need to keep it going.
Do you have experience with this line of business, Lerato?
Not really, Simon. Just trying to do the right thing.
Okay, well, it's working, so well done on getting those bonus points. John, I must compliment you. You're being very consistent today. Unfortunately, consistently wrong.
Yeah, not the best assignment at all.
Let's pull it together. Next question. Female truck drivers face many challenges such as A, working hours despite resolution changes, B, not enough safe stops, C, aggressive drivers on the road, or D, traffic fines. Get your answers in. Well done. 7 correct answers that round, and of course the obvious one being not enough safe stops for those female drivers. Christelle taking those bonus points. Well done, Christelle.
Thank you, Simon.
Let's take a look at the leaderboard. I think predictably we've got Masichaba and Christelle sitting at the top of the log, followed by Wayne and Lerato in 3rd and 4th place. We have Simon and Molatelo tied on 18 points in 5th spot. And then right down at the bottom of the table, we've got Neo on 12 and John rooted to the bottom with just 6 points. All right, your next question. What does Triple H stand for? Is it A, Highway Heroes Honors, B, Highway Hollard Heroes, C, Hollard Highway Heroes, or D, Heroes Honoring Highways? I can't believe I said that without making a mistake. Get those answers in. Option C was the correct answer, Hollard Highway Heroes. 6 of you got that correct. The bonus points, once again, going to Christelle, taking advantage of being employed by the sponsor. Well done, Christelle.
Thank you.
Molatelo, you got that one wrong. I mean, look, I think it was it was a bit of a tongue twister for me as the host. Do you have any experience with this line of business?
No, but I knew the answer again. I knew it. Like, I think I was, after pressing A, I was already frustrated before you even said the correct answer.
You mean there's a little bit of a breakdown in communications between your brain and your hands?
True.
Between the management and the workers.
Yeah.
It's a common problem in corporate South Africa. All right, well, unfortunately, that error kind of moves you down into the bottom 3, so you're going to have to work hard. Remember, folks, it's the lowest score that gets eliminated today, so if you're in that bottom rung, you're out. All right, next question. Choose one incorrect answer. Hollard Trucking has many value-added benefits to their customers, such as A, rewards card program for truck drivers, B, driver training solutions, C, 24-hour risk monitoring bureau, or D, license renewal services. Get those answers in. The correct answer was D, license renewal service. There were 7 of you that got that right. And John, welcome to the game.
Thank you, Simon.
John, you are aware of the fact that we started this game 5 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, Simon.
Right, yeah. I guess you could say that. All right, next question. Choose one incorrect answer. Hollard Trucking offers the following products. A, GIT contingent insurance. B, goods in transit insurance. C, women in transport insurance. Or D, trucking motor insurance. One incorrect answer. Get your answers in. The correct option was C, women in transport insurance. There were 6 correct answers, and Christelle, once again, getting those critical bonus points. Christelle, I'm starting to think you have an unfair advantage here.
No, man, I studied. Even though I work for Hollard, I studied this.
You don't work in this particular business unit at Hollard, do you?
Not even close. I work in claims.
All right, well done for getting those points. John? All right, John, you got further than this in the last season, right?
Yes, it was actually at the Hollard episode that I crashed out the last time.
Ooh, that's got to be weighing heavily on your mind.
Like a 10-ton truck, Simon.
John, do we need to go and fact check you on that? Are you sure it was the Hollard episode? Just saying.
No, you're welcome to.
All right, next question. Who is the main funder of the WIWIT initiative? Is it A, Hollard, B, Sanral, C, USAID, or D, Trucklogics? Let's get those answers in. The correct answer was C, USAID. There were 4 correct answers. The fastest correct answer, Masichaba, welcome back.
Yay!
This sees you still in the top, just behind Christelle. Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Wayne, let's have a chat. I've been ignoring you because you've just been quietly accumulating points in the background there. I think this is one of the first questions you've actually got wrong.
Yes, it was a lot of doubt in that one because they all seemed right.
You're an insurance broker, right?
Yes, I am.
And do you have a lot of clients in the trucking sector?
I used to. It's not the best sector to have clients in. A lot of sleepless nights.
not right now.
No, especially not right now.
All right. Well, let's hope this isn't the start of a trend for you. Christelle also got that question wrong.
You want an answer? You want an explanation?
No, not really. I just wanted to say hi and point out that you were wrong.
Thanks for that.
You may go.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at that leaderboard. Up at the top of the table, we've got Masichaba and Christelle. Things are not looking good down at the bottom of the table for John and Nao, who are battling it out, just 4 points difference between them. All right, your next question. Who was the overall HHH Triple H winner for 2021? Was it A. Philip Ntembu, B. Neil Blomkamp, C. Martin Langeveld, or D. Tato Motaung? Get those answers in. And of course, the correct answer was D. Tato Motaung. The fastest correct answer being Wayne. Well done, Wayne. I know you quietly accumulated points, but you just decided to grab those critical bonus points at this stage of the game. That should seal your role going into the next round.
Thank you.
Christelle deciding to finish off this round as weak as possible. Another incorrect answer for you, Christelle.
Oh, I wasn't aware. Thank you for pointing it out, Simon.
Sure. All right. The last question of this competition to decide who will be leaving us today. The Hollard Trucking Driver Awards card program has various risk criteria. Which of the below is weighted the highest? Is it A, harsh driving, B, speeding, C, kilometers traveled, or D, excessive driving, day or night? The correct answer was B, speeding. All 8 of you got that correct. Impressive end to the round. The fastest correct answer, once again, Masichaba. So Masichaba, you really didn't need those additional bonus points. I think your teammates, Lerato, Neo, and John Molatelo could have all benefited seriously from those additional bonus points. They found themselves rooted to the bottom of the table and facing dismissal. The person leaving the competition today, and regrettably, the person who also left during the Hollard task last year, is John. John, you came into this competition with smooth tires and an expired license. And predictably, you've hit the barrier at the first turn. Your ride in the Insurance Apprentice ends here. Goodbye. Naya, I'm not sure you know how close you were to going.
I've got this burning sensation behind my ears. I honestly thought I was the one leaving.
Seriously, there were just 2 points separating you from John. You were on 36 and he was on 34. All right, well done to all of you. You find yourself in the top 7 of this season of the Insurance Apprentice. Now it's time to pay the bills. The Insurance Apprentice continues right after the break.
So, let's quickly recap what Hollard Trucking's industry-leading insurance offers you. Comprehensive trucking motor insurance cover, goods in transit cover, our always on-risk services bureau, our driver rewards card, TITA accredited driver training and assessment, Hollard Highway Heroes. Hollard Trucking, carrying our country's future.
And we're back. I'd like to welcome this week's guest judge, the Bureau Operations Manager and Highway Heroes Campaign Manager, Elka Dupasani. Welcome, Elka.
Thank you.
This is not your first brush with the Insurance Apprentice, is it?
No, it's not. So I entered last year and lasted 10 minutes. So it's
You entered as a contestant,
Yes.
and now you're here as a judge,
yes.
and you only lasted 10 minutes.
Yes, unfortunately.
You heard it right here, folks. Well, welcome. I wish you luck as a judge.
Thank you.
And of course, we have our resident mean co-judge, Nox Dlamini, Cruella Dlamini. Welcome.
I think actually the Cruellas are the contestants. Do you see all the black and white today?
I do, yes. I think you inspired them last year with some of your outfits. But welcome back, Nox.
you.
Looking
Thank you,
forward to your input. All right, it's time for premium presentation. In premium presentation, the contestants are divided into two groups. They received info packs earlier this morning, and now, following a brief from our episode sponsor, each team will be given 5 minutes in a private breakaway room to construct a spot presentation using their collaborative insurance expertise. Each team will then have 4 minutes, just 4 minutes to present, which must be divided equally amongst all contestants. If the team's presentation is poor or deviates from the brief, the judges may hit the buzzer at any time. But the contestants must continue. If a team gets 3 buzzers, they will have to stop their presentation immediately. After each presentation, the teams will receive feedback from the judges, and we will then deliberate amongst ourselves and decide on the losing team, whereafter the weakest link will be sent packing. I'll now hand over to our guest judge, Alka, for this week's challenge.
Thank you, Simon. In today's challenge, the teams will have different tasks. The task for Team A deals with safe truck stops. It can be argued that there are not enough safe truck stops in South African roads, not to mention the risks involved for female truck drivers traveling on our national routes. In your view, outline the top 3 challenges facing female truck drivers from a road safety perspective. As the newly appointed project manager of a truck driver road safety NGO, with limited funding and a clear objective to implement more safe truck stops on the N1 over the next 5 years. How would you go about achieving such a mammoth task with limited time and funding? The task for Team B deals with the challenges that female truck drivers deal with. Women account for only 1.2% of truck drivers in South Africa. Interventions are needed to increase the pool of accredited female drivers and transform the trucking and logistics industry. In your view, what are the main barriers facing female truck drivers when applying for truck driver roles in South Africa? How would you address the stigma surrounding female truck drivers?
Thank you so much, Alka. I think it's a fantastic task, very relevant on several fronts, not just in the trucking sector, but I think right across the spectrum in South Africa. So contestants, now that you've heard the brief, you'll be split into 2 teams as follows. Team A, we have Wayne, Simon, and Nayo. And in Team B, we have Molatelo, Lerato, Masichaba, and Christelle. Contestants, are you ready?
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Ready?
Your preparation time starts now. So this project, that you've been working on, I mean, how long has this been going on for, Hollard?
So it started in 2019. I met Nikki Scott, which is the founder of the CTA, Commercial Transport Academy. She introduced me to the project, and obviously because of what we do, because we driver-centric, it immediately caught my attention, and I just figured we need to be part of this.
So we're doing task 1, eh? Yes.
Remember, we have 4 minutes only, so I don't think we should have too many slides.
So I think safety is a big concern. How we're bridging that gap currently is we focusing employment in short distance travel, not long haul.
Okay.
It's more the long haul because there's not enough safe stops between the two sort of.
Which is the task today, basically.
Exactly, yeah. Even at these safe stops, if they do exist, there's no female facilities, so they can't even take a shower. They can't even take a nap.
No bathrooms or
nothing. Yeah.
The company can provide a portable.
Yeah, portable toilet inside.
Portable toilet.
In the actual truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we need to now start seeing females in male roles campaigns.
I understand. So like when it's a truck with a driver, it should be a female driver.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Team A has 1 woman and 2 men. Do you think that that's going to prejudice Nayo or the team generally? She's obviously the woman in the group.
It's interesting because I think Neo hasn't really, gotten out of a shell and had a chance to shine.
She's been a background player.
Sure. So this could be a real opportunity for her to step up and take that leadership role and guide the guys,
I mean, you'd think they'd be looking to her just because she's the only woman in the group.
You would hope so.
Do you agree with that, Naya? What are you feeling?
I don't remember us talking about this.
No, the NGO part's the tough part.
Triple B.
Yeah, the EE. Yeah.
Guys, what does triple B stand for?
Broad-based.
Black economic empowerment. You know, I've been asking, I'm like, where the other two B's?
So I'm just thinking about the discrimination aspect from an employment practice perspective. How are we actually tackling this? Is this something that is being done? Are these employers being challenged? Are you looking to see those solutions come through as well?
So I think we're still in the sort of like embryo phase of this. That's the next step. So we first need a pool of ladies, which we're busy working on. Then we'll go to the industry and say, and they're looking at training up 400 drivers over the next 2 years.
I'll do the discussion about what the current state of the transport industry is at. For
So
example,
who's starting? Who's going to do the introduction?
You do the introduction.
No. You said I must come in after you.
No, but you, because you said you're not doing the introduction. This is the intro. This is the intro.
Who's doing the intro?
You. That's part one. That's part one. This is the introduction.
But am I the first person to speak?
Yes, ma'am. You're doing task one.
You must actually say the conclusion. Who ran the world? Girls.
Securing the future.
All right, well, that was a great discussion. Let's see what the teams have to say. Team A, are you ready?
Yes, Simon.
All right, your prep time is up and your presentation time starts now.
Thank you, judges. Myself and my team have come up with a short presentation to explain to you guys about the challenges that females are facing in the trucking industry. And the top three challenges I had identified was limited safe stops for females, no female restrooms, and also there was a disregard to the wellness part of the actual drivers. So with regards to the first point of limited safe stops, we could make the use of stop facilities for women on national roads for overnight accommodation. The female restrooms, the actual company that the female is working for can provide a portable sanitation station in the actual truck for the females for less exposure to risks, and also a wellness regard where the females are provided with watches, where you furnish the drivers with the watches, smart watches to track their health, whether it's safe for them or whether they're fit enough to go on to their next travel. Thank you. I'll hand over now to Wayne.
Thank you. Judges, as a part of the NGO, we would like to approach all role players within the industry and have a hard conversation about the state of the industry as it stands now, not just with the sake of female drivers, but with trucking companies making use of back roads for quicker deliveries, making use of the cheapest driver first, which are not always people that are firmly educated or have the correct licenses, and also avoiding national roads. So we would like to engage with trucking companies, with fuel rest station owners, as well as the road toll agencies, to bring forth a collaborative that would benefit them and also help us with a part of the funding. I will also now hand over to Simon, who's going to elaborate more on what the benefits will be for companies to get involved with this initiative of ours in the long run, that will enable us to build more safer to build more safer truck stops. Over to Simon.
Good day, judges. I'm going to talk about the SANRAL option. What I like about the SANRAL option is if the trucks use the SANRAL on the national highways more and the toll-acts, there will be more funding to keep them national roads in a proper way. I'm freezing up, keeping the national roads in a safe working condition and growing the economics. And with the fuel station, we can start a private-public relationship with the fuel station owners, where they can collaborate with each other and develop more, or expanding the standing model to develop overnight sleeping accommodation and that sort of stuff. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes,
Okay, guys, you had an extra minute left in your presentation. I don't think it's ever a good idea to leave time on the table, so to speak. Alka, anything jump out to you straight away?
Yes, there's a few things. The first thing, the smart watches that you mentioned, it's actually an idea that we also had. My question is, where are we going to get the funding for these smart watches?
We were actually thinking of it from the trucking companies actually providing these to the drivers. So we weren't necessarily aware that they were not willing to fund this for the drivers.
Okay, but you're aware that they don't have money to pay for drivers. They want cheap drivers, but they can afford smartwatches.
Yeah, but also taking into consideration that if you take a cheap driver, it does not necessarily mean that they are fit to actually be driving.
Portable toilets in a truck, how does that work?
Well, obviously, portable trucks in the sense that because men can just generally park on the side of the road. Park the truck on the side of the road and do their number one. Women can't exactly do that.
Okay, so she also needs to sleep in the truck, so where's that smell going to go to?
Something portable and something they can actually throw out and then continue with their journey.
Similar to the devices that people currently use when they go caravanning.
Man, I am never driving behind a truck ever again in my life.
I just hope you have working wipers.
There's products on the market that actually neutralizes the smell. A lot of people use it that go camping. It's part of caravanning as a culture. So there are chemicals you can use to neutralize the smells.
So would you do it?
Yes, I would. I'd stand by my point. I would use it.
You guys mentioned collaboration with various stakeholders. What would be the actual incentive for them to jump in and assist with funding?
Revenue generated would be the biggest upside for them. More fee, more usage.
But why is that practice so prevalent currently?
It's because the current state of the back roads in our country is where trucks are utilizing back roads to reach its payload.
Do you have statistics to back that statement?
I do not have statistics to back it. The only thing I have is actual driving in Mpumalanga roads that are roads that leads to harbours and the state of those roads as they currently stand.
Okay.
Simon, could you talk a little bit more about the partnership with Sanral?
Okay, the partnership with Sanral, if the truck companies start using the national highway more, and the toll fees, they're paying the toll fees. At the end of the day, there's going to be a lot more money in building roads or new roads and keeping existing roads in working condition.
What are the specific wellness needs for women that the watches would target? And
in most cases, women are triggered by high blood and cholesterol, or actually diabetes. So whether your sugar levels are high or low, you need to test it.
And this is female specific?
Yes.
Do you have data to support that?
Actually, for both males and females.
Correct. So I'm asking you to zero in on the wellness needs for women. That's what we're asked to do here.
We also, as part of our presentation, if we can go back a slide or two, mentioned driver monitoring. There's a truck cam facility where you can actually physically look at the person sitting inside the truck to determine their wellness. Also, we haven't included it, but we thought about a buddy system that would make people travel together as part of an incentive. Where someone could keep tabs on each other's wellness, because if someone is suffering from depression, they very seldomly realize it themselves or admit it themselves.
Sure. Sorry, can we come back to Nao again?
Yes, I wanted to go back to...
Nao, sorry, before you start talking, I just want to ask you a question. As a woman working, what are the challenges that you've experienced? So you're not in trucking, But have you thought about it just from the perspective of a woman, and then thought about whether that applies in the trucking environment? It doesn't seem like it's from some of the things that you've suggested.
We actually did think about it, I just didn't jot it down.
What about having children? I mean, looking after kids, having to leave work to go and fetch your child from school.
We did mention that as well.
But you haven't mentioned it.
Yes. To build a sort of creche, an overnight creche for the women that are actually working and are actually single, for their children to be there.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd come out of the starting blocks talking about that would have been that is something that's particular to women, and I think it's what Knox is looking for. But you lost an opportunity there. Yeah.
Guys, I just need you to highlight the safety risks for women on the road.
The safety, I did mention something with regards to safety, that in case of something where you suspect or you think you're about to be hijacked, we were actually suggesting that there's actually like a safety room within the truck, where if you suspect something like that is about to happen to you, you actually press the panic button. You go into that safety box and it locks you in for a specific amount of time. It was brought up that what if it is a hijacking and those people want to actually now capture you and go with that truck?
They take the truck, the whole truck. So whether you're in a safe box or not, they're going to take the whole truck. And then you'll probably starve in there after like a week being left on the road. From an OEM perspective, I don't think they will or currently do create anything like that or would invest in creating anything like that, because it's a specific South African problem. I'm not convinced.
Thank you for your presentation. Good luck. Team B, are you ready?
Ready.
And your presentation time starts now.
Good day, judges. My name is Christelle, and today me and the team will be taking you through some stigmas and barriers that women in the trucking industry face. And some of the barriers that females are facing is a male-dominated industry, stereotyping about women, whether it be home, business, or social, a lack of confidence and training when applying for jobs. This can influence how they feel when they actually apply. Recruitment, the onboarding and encouraging thereof, outdated company policies, little to no presence of women in senior management. I will now be handing over to Masachaba, who will be discussing some of the key risks we face in the industry.
The barriers presented by Christelle are a direct result of women being more susceptible to some of the main risks facing the transport industry as a whole. The transport industry is riddled with safety problems such as hijacking, riots, and attacks. And also there is a gross lack of health and medical facilities on the road on which these drivers spend most of the time. Lerato is going to be elaborating more on how we can address the various stigmas that affect women in this industry.
Thank you, Masachaba. What we have found is that women are seen and given this damsel in distress narrative. And what we'd like to do in addressing this, we change the narrative using media campaigns such as those similar to Arrive Alive, 16 Days of Activism, where we'd highlight the fact that women are doing things that used to be male careers or are taking part in more male-dominated environments. We'd also ask that the regulation be looked into, perhaps a BE scorecard for these logistical companies, for them to have more women on their sheet than with what they are used to having, not just in the admin facilities, but also just on the job, on the road, where their revenue comes in the most. Product sensitivity is very important in this, in that we need to teach men that they aren't the only ones who are running in this environment, and they need to learn how to work with women in this industry. I'll hand over to Molatelo to speak to how we secure the future.
Yeah. So another way the stigmas could be addressed is by looking at the benefits of having female drivers listed on insurance. Stats show that in 2019, 70% of the claims were submitted were by males, and 79% of traffic offences were also by male drivers. So we could take into consideration claims benefit and say that, the more female drivers you have, this would lead to a better claims ratio. We also understood how we spoke about teaming up male drivers and female drivers in the long hauls. So obviously, because of the long working hours, drivers are usually exhausted. We thought that companies would benefit by teaming up male and female drivers, and by making sure that, when there are two drivers, they are not such an easy target when it comes to hijackings and all that. And that obviously the male counterparts would get to experience how it is to work with the female counterparts, and they'd see that actually women they're equals. They can do exactly what the men can do. And in conclusion, we said women run the world. Thank you.
Well done. Spot on with your time. That's commendable. Thanks for your presentation. I think I'm going to hand over to Elka to begin with.
That was actually not bad. There's just a few things that I wanted to mention. So who else would you get on board to try and change the stigma?
I think a good place to start would be maybe collaborating with other insurers that also work in the trucking industry and getting them to involve their clients as well.
How would you reduce the loss ratios?
So I think that so we were talking about premiums more than anything. So at the moment, there are more male drivers. And we thought that if companies listed more female drivers in the ratio of their drivers, that could impact their premiums. So that's how we want to sell this idea of having female drivers to companies as well, to say, hey, there's also a benefit for you guys to have female drivers.
I actually think that's a brilliant idea. This whole thing is premised on what would be the incentive for truck owners to actually employ these drivers. And if you talk about costs for them, of which insurance is quite a big cost, and you highlight the fact that better drivers is equal to better rating, this would be a way to actually combat that. So well done. I was quite impressed by that.
What? You were impressed by something? What's in this? Given that you're all women in this team, would you be comfortable going on a long haul drive with just you and a man in the vehicle? It's probably someone you don't know, on long stretches of road where there's no one else around. Would that work for you?
Well, we take it from the premise, Simon, that at the end of the day, this person should also be your colleague. And we should be able to partner with our colleagues and trust that we are in an environment that would also safeguard us from our employer point of view.
The GBV issue is actually often perpetrated by people that are known to the victim.
So I think I'd like to answer that. So I work in an environment that is predominantly male, and I've gotten used to it, I must say. Most of the places I go, if I go to a plant, if I go to a factory, it's a lot of men, and I'm always the only female in those spaces. So I think with enough training on our side as well, because self-defense, how do you protect yourself? Because you can't leave it to the man that you're traveling with to protect you. With the driver training, the advanced training that is offered, self-defense as well.
A marketing campaign is great, and telling us that women can do everything is all well and good. But a pregnant woman rocks up, she's a qualified and accredited truck driver, she needs a job. How are we catering to those specific needs that she has? Does she get employed? Does she not?
Maternity, yes, it is an issue. But I think at that point, with doctors' recommendations and making sure that all health checks are being done, we can still have the individual maybe learning on the more managerial side, on the logistical side internally, but not keeping them out of the game.
All right, thank you, team. We'll deliberate and get back to you. Who do you think did really well today?
I think it was quite obvious.
Yeah, this group here.
Yes.
Good solutions. I think a little bit more out of the box. Not all of it obviously spot on, but I think they put more thought into it, and they have statistics to back that.
Correct. They seem to have done their research and then thought it through, other than...
It's actually amazing they put that together so quickly.
Yeah.
It was quite polished.
And it's interesting how the dynamics of the two groups played a role, because we sort of called this beforehand.
If that individual had an idea, either she didn't get the opportunity to, or they didn't get the opportunity to state it, or it just wasn't.
And we actually did make mention of, the assertiveness of the individual, or lack thereof, and if this would be an opportunity that they then take to step into that role. And because those ideas then came through, why did they not make it to the presentation?
Both teams also put forward the buddy system. So it was not just the one team, which is...
Is that practical? I wanted to ask you, because I know, then you're doubling costs.
So the buddy system is already in place.
Okay.
We already see a lot of organizations doing that, putting two drivers on a truck. It's an existing concept. Yeah.
But we've got a very unique situation in this country where women are at significant peril at the hands of men.
Look, I think just in terms of the task today, I think this was a fail. So that's definitely the losing team. This individual just continuously fails to impress.
The inaccuracies for me. So on that basis alone, they would be my weakest player. No real participation in the Q&A. They just had that one point which wasn't accurate.
Well, I do agree with that. Obviously we're looking for innovative, strong individuals that are problem solvers.
Who was the leader in that team? That would be an interesting question too.
I'd like to know that as well.
So it's unfair to expect that individual, on the basis of who they are, to be the one to answer those questions.
Now that's probably what sank them today, even more than their sort of poor prep. But I think we're in agreement.
Yep.
That's who's going home.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's bring them back. Right, welcome back, contestants. Thanks for your presentations. I'm going to hand over to Elka for her comments.
Thanks, Simon. So just in general, I think one of the groups really stood out for me. Good solutions to the problem. I think thought it through properly. The other team, I think, also came up with solutions, but I think we had more questions, and I think we needed more insight, and so that's where I'm at.
Thank you. Knox?
I hate that we've come to expect this from me, but I was bitterly disappointed by one group. There was no real evidence of thinking through these issues on a practical scale and really focusing on the group, the women that we'd asked you to do. On the other hand, I have to balance that. The other group came through, really Sean came through with a brilliant idea. And remember guys, this is still an insurance task, and only one of us mentioned a role that Hollard can actually play in these engagements and these dynamics and these solutions. So well done to the group that did mention that, and the other, we need to do better.
Thanks, Knox. I also I think that it was obvious to all of us which was the winning group. Team B, you did a superb job. Your use of the time was excellent. You hit all the major points. And in fact, in this team, it was quite difficult to find the top performer because you all carried your weight throughout the presentation. So I thought that was really excellent. We would have liked a bit more detail around funding and some of the other things, but of course we understand it's quite difficult to do that in the time that's allowed for prep and presentation. But yeah, well done to you. You guys are safe today. Team A, yeah, this was quite painful to watch this presentation. I was expecting a lot more from this group. Nao, I have this came up in the Q&A session, and it was when I asked you about the childcare issues. You know, what are the issues that you as a woman face in your work life, and whether there's any parallels there with the drivers that we were talking about. And you said something like you had discussed this in the session, but it didn't really make it into the presentation. Why was that? Did you suggest that this childcare issue should be added to the presentation?
I did.
So you're there as the only woman in the team. You have an opportunity to bring up what I think is one of the most critical issues facing not just drivers in the transport sector, but largely...
Yeah, it's actually very frustrating.
So
I definitely bring up the pros and the cons to it. Just didn't put it down on paper.
Did anyone tell you not to do that?
No.
One of the things we were discussing was, you know, here's this critical issue. There's one woman in the team. If she suggested it, was it possible that she was kind of shot down by her male colleagues? And if that was the case, what would our responsibility be as judges? It's all academic now, actually, because as Nao has confirmed, that did not happen in the team, and I'm very happy to hear that. But I think you would have probably been able to put your team in a winning position if you'd come out with that in the presentation. Simon, you were kind of just, again, you know, a background player. I didn't feel like you were actively taking part in the conversation. And I have to say, whilst we don't carry points through from, you know, task to task, it is becoming a pattern for you that, you know, you say one or two things, you only use up a very small portion of the time that's been allocated to you. And when you're in a team of 3, everyone has to carry their weight. You guys should be jumping in and supporting each other, and that applies to all of you. But I'm getting the sense, Simon, that you're completely out of your depth with these tasks. So when we came to our decision, as I said, it wasn't an easy one to make. But we have to look at the fact that given the opportunity to shine, to come forward, to present some cohesive ideas, Simon, I think that there's no doubt amongst the 3 of us here that today it's you that's going to be leaving the competition. So Simon, you attended the advanced driver training, you maintained your vehicle, and you made it pretty far down the Insurance Apprentice highway. But you fell asleep at the most critical time. Your transit has crashed and burned without any hope of delivery. Goodbye. Okay, well, I guess it remains for me to congratulate you as a group. You've made it into the top 6. Bearing in mind we started with 50 contestants, more than 50. You've done well to get this far. Nao, do you think you deserve to stay in this competition?
Honestly, I was already saying my goodbyes to the guys. I was beating myself up so much.
Here's some advice that I think will be useful to you beyond the Insurance Apprentice. If you've got ideas, you need to articulate them. So speak up. You're very lucky to still be here today. Knox?
Yeah, no, I think it feels like we're, picking on you today, but I think this message goes across the board. Guys, this is such a critical point in the competition, and you can't be holding back. And in the same breath, no one is coming to save you. In as much as the systems need to change, we need to take responsibility to actually step up and show up.
I think just back everything up with statistics. Just because something doesn't sit well with you doesn't mean that it's factual. And I say that purely because I am a student myself and I believe in continuous learning. And then just think about what you put out there and make sure that it is backed by evidence.
All right. I think, Wayne, it's kind of obvious. You're the only one representing the males in the species right now. This is like a big weight on your shoulders right now, right?
In that task, I could see where it was going, and I was just thinking to myself, oh no, I'm going to represent all things that's male and bad in the world.
Yeah. Okay, well, you have an opportunity to not do that, but well done. You're still in the competition, and you've got some stiff competition with you in the top 6, but you made it, and I think all of you that are left behind, our top 6 now, you can pat yourselves on the back. It takes a lot to get this far in this competition, and you've done it. All right, so with each week that passes, the contestants drop like flies while we get closer to finding the winner of the Insurance Apprentice Season 8. Now, with only 6 contestants remaining, we're still on a quest to find that one contestant who stands out from the rest and shows up worthy of being the ambassador for this industry. Many thanks to our episode sponsor, Hollard Insure, and particularly to Alka. We appreciate your input today. To our studio sponsor, Old Mutual Insure, thank you once again. And of course to you, our viewers, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to come back again next week to stand a chance of winning those cash prize giveaways. Simply like our page, share each episode on Facebook, and answer the weekly question. And this week's question is, which contestant was eliminated at the end of this week's premium presentation? Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stand a chance to win. From myself, Simon Coleman, and my co-judge, Knox Cruella Dlamini.
Let us go.
Until next time, same place. See you then. Bye-bye.